Fallout 3 is filled to the brim with guns you can use to bring down your foes. So why would you use a gun so bad sneezing would probably do more damage? Because it looks kinda cool? So, can you beat Fallout 3 with only the Chinese pistol? Before I start this masochistic adventure, a few rules need to be set. Rule number 1. I can only kill or deal damage with the Chinese pistol with exception of that one red roach. Rule number 2. 1 charisma, no speed checks, no sneak build and no VATs. And rule number 3. No drugs like Jet, Buff Out, Psycho and Medex, cause winners don't do drugs. And also no alcohol. With the rules in order, let's start this run. I named my character after MGS best girl Eva and hope to absorb some of her legendary Chinese pistol skills. Spoiler, I did not. Chose my special points, got my male fantasy appealed by having a lovely birthday party with Liam Neeson as my dad, did the exception of rule 1, took the goat, changed the results of the goat and chose lockpick, repair and small guns as my skills. Amata woke me up and told me my dad went out to buy cigarettes. Thanks to my real life experience with this phenomenon, I knew he wouldn't come back, so I packed my things and was off to find my deadbeat father. I came across Butch, who begged for my help to save his mom, so I did. I saved his mom from a lifelong alcohol addiction. Can't drink if you're dead. Found a secret exit and escaped the vault. My first stop was Great Side Supply to buy myself a Chinese pistol to complete my Eva cosplay. Here I made the biggest mistake of this run. I accidentally accepted the minefield quest. Now every time I talk to Moira I hear this.
How are those hot little potatoes?
It took me 10 minutes of vendor resets to get my hands on a Chinese pistol. Finally I can look for Dad, and how could it be otherwise? The bar owner knows more of him than I do. He told me Dad had a meeting with Tree Dog. On my way to Tree Dog I discovered how terrible the Chinese pistol exactly is and how it goes through bullets like it's nothing. Luckily the Brotherhood was there to help with the super mutant problem. Thankfully I was able to loot the corpses I did not create and sell those items to get more bullets from her.
How are those hot little potatoes?
I traveled back to GNR, contributed my 6 damage to take down the behemoth, found some nukes and confronted Tree Dog. He told me his Wi-Fi router is broken and now can't broadcast his shitty podcast anymore. So I have to find a replacement because rule number 2 is an abomination that I created. Reached the Museum of Technology and figured that 6 bullets weren't enough to kill the super mutants. So back to Potato Obsessed Moira to get some more bullets for clapping some super mutant booty. Some booty was clapped alright, sadly it was mine. The Chinese pistol does doo-doo damage and without VATs the bullets are comparable to my jokes as they both don't hit their marks. I tried sniping them from a distance, this showed to be a very ineffective way of killing them and a great way to run out of bullets. Then I tried dancing around the enemies, shooting them up close, assuring that most bullets would hit their mark, and this worked surprisingly well. I could finally obtain the router in peace and use it to replace the broken one. Tree Dog told me my dad was visiting his chick in Rivet City. Because I have big dum-dum brain, I went to Moira to restock up on ammo and losing the last of my sanity instead of going to Rivet City, where the vendors have a decent amount of supplies, but above all else they don't have a fondness of an Irish about potatoes. On my way to Rivet City I made an offering to our Lord and Savior Mitten Squad, hoping he would bless this run. I arrived in Rivet City and met my father's lover.
Don't you know who I am? I suppose James never told you. Typical.
Oh, they fucking. Oh, they fucking. Oh, they fucking. Oh, they fucking.
She told me he was last seen at the one place with super mutants. I went there and I was less prepared than every army ever trying to conquer Russia in the winter. But pushed through, spamming my Stimpack hotkey and found the tape with the whereabouts of Dad. Before I checked this Vault 112 location, I went to Rivet City Market to sell some nukes for 10mm ammo. On my way I met a not so friendly Mr. Gutsy, checked out this diner, the staff was lazy or dead, I honestly couldn't tell, and saw how the Raiders gave a new twist to the Burning Man festival. Vault 112 is inside a garage and holy fuck, is that GigaChat from Senza's Fisting Adventures Volume 8 Zero's Betrayal? GigaChat gave me cozy clothes and let me play a VR game. And it's like the best VR game ever. First objective, make Timmy cry. I couldn't punch him cause challenge and the speech check was also not an option, so I brought with me a military brochure and told him his parents didn't want him no more and that his ass belonged to the military now. Done. Second objective, home wreck the loving Rockwell family. You have to remember that these are the suburbs in the 50s. So all I have to say to Janet to get that divorce is that Roger helped a neighbor with her Tupperware party. Yeah man, the 50s were all about that Tupperware.
It's a Tupperware party, and it's really fun.
Third objective, kill Mabel Henderson. No virtual deaths on my watch, I'm shutting this game down with Chinese commies. Back in the real world, I found out my dad was stuck inside the game. Casual scum. After an awkward conversation about where my dad's cigarette cigarettes he went out for R, we went back to Dr. Lee. I got told that I had to kill the super mutants for real this time. I deemed 500 bullets enough to take care of this pest problem, or in other words, I didn't want to do any more vendor resets. I don't think words can describe how tedious it is to kill a bunch of super mutants at the same time. I will just show you. Told Dad that everything was dead. While he was fixing the water purifier, I pressed the button, replaced fuses, activated the mainframe and turned the valve. This triggered the Enclave to come. This sucked, they hit like a truck, have power armor, and I couldn't go back to get more bullets because the doors were locked. So I ran past most of them, trying to hold on to the last few bullets I had left. I got to the purifier room and there was this guy Dad didn't want to talk to, so he blew himself up. Dr. Lee was like, we need to go to the Brotherhood of Steel. And I was like, really? Can't we just join the Enclave? Then she told me if I wanted to make decisions I should go play New Vegas. Between us and the escape tunnel were 3 Enclave soldiers and I had only enough bullets to inflict a nosebleed. Luckily Dr. Lee picked up a sledge and started swinging. Became unconscious a few times till they were all dead and we could escape. That moment the game remembered that it was made by Bethesda, so it crashed. Did the whole thing again. This time Lee was like, I'm gonna stand in this one location and hinder your progress. Third time was the charm and we reached the tunnels. These were filled with ghouls and Enclave. Bullets were still a thing that I didn't fucking had, so I played bait while someone from our group shot them. Found enough bullets to inflict another nosebleed and went back to play Dodge the Ghoul. Until I reached the Brotherhood of Steel Initiate, who gave me and the last few ghouls a warm welcome. Now we can safely go to the Citadel, meet Elder Lion and use the Brotherhood's computer to Google the location of a gag. It's in Vault 87 and only can be entered via Little Lamplight. Before I start this dangerous endeavor, let's do some vendor resets. I hope 1353 bullets will be enough for now. I fast traveled to Smith Casey's garage and walked to Little Lamplight. Here Rule 2 reared his ugly disgusting head again because he couldn't save Scum the speech jack due to it and now had to rescue kids from slavers. So let's go to Paradise Falls. The reason I don't really comment on the walking parts between locations is because they are boring as hell. Most enemies I encounter I just run away from as they aren't worth the hassle. And saying I hope this wasn't John Wick's dog every time I kill one will become stale after a while. I reached Paradise Falls but didn't feel like bribing the guards or rounding up slaves or shooting up a small business, so I decided to get bad karma and enter this fine establishment that way. I fast traveled to Megaton to get my bad karma from blowing up the town. Of course I didn't have the required explosive skills to rig the bomb. The next best thing to gain bad karma was stealing stuff. I released my inner kleptomaniac and took everything within the grasp of my grubby little hands. Because karma is a forgiving female, I had to rob several families blind, which probably resulted in them starving to death before she was like, maybe you are a meanie. With my newly acquired mean bean status, I was able to get into Paradise Falls. The kids were locked up in a cage and were wearing these collars that prevented them from running off. Repairing the cable junction box solved the turning into red paste when you leave the premise problem. Now it's time to unimprison some kids. First, we need the guard to go away from his post. I told him he was sleepy and that he had to rest. He told me he wasn't. Damn, he's good. So I hired a lady of the night during the day to seduce the guard. It worked. Now the kids can escape. One of them doesn't want to leave without her boyfriend who's trapped inside the box. The one possessing the key to the box is the seduced guard. I found him and did a cool one-liner. Your 7 minutes in heaven are over. Time to spend your eternity in hell. I hoped hell was patient, cause it took my pistol 4.5 magazines to get him there. Got the key, opened the box, the kid didn't work no more, told the girl and we could finally escape. The slavers didn't like that very much, but not enough to send more than 2 guards after us. Killing them and talking to one of the kids completed the quest and rewarded me with a level up, which allowed me to get 25 in the explosive skill I needed to rig the bomb and get my revenge on Moira. I sneaked into Megaton at night, rigged the bomb and traveled to Tenpenny Tower where the detonator was waiting for me. This is it. I can finally obliterate Moira. I hate her so much. She's the stuff of nightmares for someone who's stupid enough to do vendor resets at her store. Yes, let's press this button and enjoy the show. I reloaded the save to see it again. It's so beautiful. The Megaton ruins. I had to see it with my own eyes. Wait, who is that? Moira? How? You may have escaped the blast of an atomic bomb, but you will not escape the fury of my Chinese pistol. And that concludes the Moira story arc. Let's go back to Little Lamplight and continue the main quest. I had to go to Murder Pass that was home to super mutants, and one creation of code so unethical, God punished Todd with the curse of never being able to make another good Fallout game ever again. The code manifested itself as a Hulk-like creature armed with a minigun and an endless supply of bullets. I went into Murder Pass with 1207 bullets and had only 540 bullets left after clearing it. So before entering Vault 87 I went back to Rivet City to do some more vendor resets. 3 Chinese pistols, 1100 odd bullets and 32 stim packs seemed enough to tackle the super mutants inside the vault. Oh, and I also bought a radiation suit. I traveled back to Little Lamplight, went through Murder Pass, which was pretty peaceful now everything was dead, and entered Vault 87. It started off easy enough with a couple of red roaches, a welcoming committee and some super mutants who wanted to play tag using nail boards, but then... They don't stop coming and they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. Not wanting to be bulletless again, I decided to just run past every mutant. It worked quite well. I reached the radiation chamber, put on my radiation suit, found the gag, took the gag, maneuvered through my post-apocalyptic groupies and was on my merry way to the exit. When Colonel Pumpkin Spice Latte decided that kidnapping me and questioning me would make for a fun afternoon.
Why do you insist on making things difficult?
Because Fallout challenge runs are pretty entertaining to watch. Colonel White Girl Coffee, who was about to shoot me, got interrupted by President Eden. He wanted to hang, but the Colonel didn't like that very much. Ah, 2 boys fighting over me. I felt like the prettiest girl at prom. In the end, I decided to go for Eden. My decision was based on he was not the one trying to kill me. After role-playing as a matador, I met up with Eden. And he is a huge racist. He wants me to put a vial in the water of the purifier that kills every mutated creature who drinks it. I don't want any racists in my post-apocalyptic world, so I talked him into killing himself. But reloaded an earlier save because rule number 1. Got back to Eden, took his vial and didn't talk him into suicide. On my way out, I got my ass blasted by a Gatling laser. Never wanting to experience that ever again, I opted for the technique of running laps around the pylon waiting for the sentry bots to shoot their rockets. It works pretty good. After escaping Raven Rock twice because my game froze, I went to Rivet City Market to trade the Enclave souvenirs I brought with me for stimpaks and more bullets for my pistol. This was the very last vendor reset of the run. I went back to the Citadel to ask if I could take Liberty Prime out for a walk. My game only crashed once during my walk with Liberty Prime to the Jefferson Memorial, robbing me of a funny joke involving Count Von Count. The soldiers guarding the entrance were no match for Liberty Prime's laser eyes and one officer for my pistol. Inside the memorial, Sarah froze once and became unconscious twice. Most people will stop with what they're doing and go see a doctor if that happened to them, but not us. We pressed onwards. Colonel Esoteric Programming Language for Girls was waiting for me, and he died within 10 seconds. That's the trade-off you have with cool jackets. They look dope but aren't really bulletproof. With the help of Sarah, I killed 2 tin cans and made my way to the purifier. I decided to put in the code myself. This can be interpreted in 2 ways. I sacrificed myself because I care about others more than I care about myself. Or, if I lived, I had to share the water with other people and...
Death is a preferable alternative to communism.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel.